Good morning, Freedom Family. Today we're going to be taking a look at the accelerated work of God in our life. So the scripture I want to talk about is in Jeremiah 29, and this is verses 13 and 14. It says, "You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. I will be found by you, declares the Lord, and will bring you back from captivity. I will gather you from all the nations and places where I banished you, declares the Lord, and will bring you back to the place from which I carried you into exile." So, we're talking about what does the accelerated work of God look like? And, the reason I chose this scripture is just because for me, I've seen God accelerate one area more than most in my life, and I think that was redemption. There's been there's been some crazy Jason times, and since even post Jesus, even since I've been a Christian, and it's interesting that God's grace is so full of acceleration when it comes to coming back to Him. And what I mean, I can think of a situation, I'm not going to go into too many details, but I can think of a situation where I just blew it for about a year. Probably a year before that, hiding that I was blowing it. And it was interesting because I felt like, I got to a pretty low place. But during that time, I didn't quit hearing God's voice, but what I was hearing God say, I didn't want to hear. And that was, I need you to take a step towards me. And I didn't want anything to do with Him because I was mad. And here's what I found. Just like this scripture says, you will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. I will be found by you. And what it took and what He was trying to tell me during that time was all it takes is you coming to me. And, the neat thing about God is that His love for us and His plan for us and His vision for us is not short-sighted. It's long-term plan. It's one of those things where if He wants us to get to Z and we're hung up in D and E, He doesn't mind us having to take a step back to C to go past it, right? And so that's what I hear God saying is, really what He wants to do in all of our lives is accelerate. But what it takes before we'll accelerate in finances, or before we'll accelerate in, in whatever, physically or, emotionally, or relationships, or whatever it is, I think the very first thing we have to allow Him to accelerate in us is how our relationship with Him, and how close we are to Him, and how submitted we are to Him. I think that's key. And what's neat about this verse is it says, "And I will bring you back from captivity. I will gather you from all the nations and places where I have banished you." Now, it's not talking about us individually, but it really is, because if you think about it, what's the one thing that keeps us away from God? We know that's sin, and He doesn't want to hang out with sin, but He loves us so much that He'll hit us with conviction, He'll hit us with people coming in, and He'll allow those choices we make to get us into places where it's not good. But the second we decide, hey, I'm gonna step in line with you, Lord, then it's like, boom. It's so many times in my life, I've seen Him just accelerate even past where I was so quickly in my relationship with Him, and then in other ways too. But it takes that first step. And, it's neat talking about this because of Beep Beep, the series we're doing. Really for me, I'm just thinking, and a lot of times in my life, Beep Beep is just, I screwed something up. All right, beep, beep. I'm not going to dwell on it. All right, God, let's get in alignment, and now let's move forward. I'm not going to dwell on that forever. So anyways, I hope you guys have a great week. And yeah, thanks for spending time with us at Freedom.